Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, seekers, and sojourners of truth. All the light bodies out there, light workers, light warriors doing your thing. My 5D people, especially the 144, the chosen of the chosen of the chosen few. I greet you in the love that lights the truth. I am Aquila Textry, and it's windy. I'm sharing this space with you. I'm showcasing a little bit of garden life here as we are entering into the Taurus season, even though this new moon is in Aries. We're preparing for the Taurus season. If you probably could see, I got some fresh dirt, like I already was in the dirt. So it's time for us to get into that grounding part. If we haven't already been grounding, we've been called into grounding for quite some time, for the past season at least, especially in this season, because we're in a root chakra season, right? But that's not what I want to talk to you guys about. If it comes up, it comes up. But what I want to speak about is this ecliptical season we in with this new moon eclipse, solar eclipse. And also let's take in a look at the relationship between the eclipses, solar and lunar, as they are relating to our north nodes, south nodes. Excuse the noise in the background. But so I want to talk a little bit about this new moon, as well as the fact that with the eclipse and solar eclipse and so forth, right? So what we have coming up with the new moon, we have moon. For those who don't know, the new moon and the moon, when there is a new moon, and the sun, it is when they are aligned, right? Full moon is when they're in opposition. Light is shining on the moon. It's looking real full. The new moon is when it's aligned with the sun, right? So this is why the moon is in Aries still, as the sun is, they're both in Aries lined up, but in the last final degrees, like 29 degrees of Aries. So that in itself means something. Whenever it's a planet or something is in 29 degrees, it's at the end. It's something that is ending and getting prepared for something that is beginning, something new. So, and endings aren't always so lovely. It's not always so pretty, so a lot of times we got to prepare. It's almost like it kind of gives a feeling of death and rebirth, like something got to die for us to go into something new. So something about us is being renewed, but of course something has to be let go. There has to be some kind of release. And this is what is coming up for a lot of us. Very, very important to pay attention to that as we're in the final season of this eclipse season that's been happening. So when you look at it, the season is like 6 months. Like if you look at the eclipse, it happens like every 6 months, and it has a relationship with the north node. So it's kind of moving with the north and south nodes. So if you look at the last three were in Taurus and Scorpio, beginning from May. In May was solar eclipse, lunar eclipse in Taurus and Scorpio, and so was November, 6 months later. And now here we are about 6 months later, where it's the end of it, because the next eclipse, we're going to be shifted. The nodes will have shifted, and we're going to be in Aries, and the north node is going to be in Aries, and the south node is going to be in Libra. So it's going to shift. So what does this mean? Well, for those who don't know, the north nodes, and this has everything to do, my galactic people, my 5D people, this has everything to do, if we pay attention, with how we're shifting into the new earth, what needs to be fallen away, how the cosmos are helping us to shed some things and get rid of some things. In every way, the cosmos are here to support us, because we are a part of it. It's not like it's just for us, but because we're so interconnected, everything is so intrinsic. Right? The universe is within us. The cosmos are within us. So how we align with the cosmos out there in the ethers, it says the same for within, in an esoteric way. So with that said, understanding that the north nodes are where we go ahead. It's where we're going, right? The south node represents usually where we're coming from. So right now in the collective, our north nodes have been in Taurus thus far, meaning we're heading in that direction. This is what we're heading for, being grounded, returning back to our roots and being in the earth, even reminding us of the age before the age of the ram, where we really just went a whole different way, right? The shadows of the age of the ram, which is what we're living from right now, and we're trying to break free and return back. So before the age of the ram was the Taurus age, right? And so as we're heading forward, not that we're heading backward into the age of Taurus, but it's also showing that what we're heading forward to is back to being the way we were, meaning in that Taurus age, we were very connected to the earth. So as we're moving forward, we're reconnecting. We're reconnecting with the earth. We're becoming more practical. We're more evolved as a people and moving forward in the more evolved essence of Taurus, right? In order to move forward, though, we must look at where we're coming from, and our south nodes is giving us a chance to look real deep. This is what the Scorpio is about. It's about death and rebirth. Again, it's about releasing some things, letting go of some things. In order for there to be a rebirth, there has to be a death. It kind of gives the understanding of the rising of the phoenix as well. For us to rise from the ashes, first we got to burn, right? First, a lot of things we got to burn up. We got to let it go. We got to dig deep. We have to allow it's Scorpio being a water sign is really about that deep emotion, the deep emotions of the waters. So it's really giving us this opportunity to go in and go real deep within ourselves so that we can move forward and return back into that connection with the earth. We're balancing ourselves as a collective with the earth, the divine feminine and divine masculine, to create a sacred union, but to be in total harmony with the earth. Because we are, as I always say, we are cells on this body of earth. Earth in itself is a body and a consciousness, and we are the cells that are within the body of the earth. So we're here to be a part of the soul ascension of the earth, as well as our individual soul's ascension. And all of this, as I said, is very intrinsic. So it works for us individually, it works for us collectively, and it helps us to help advance with the planet collectively, cohesively, into the new earth, into the 5D, into the fifth density light, into the Aquarian age. All of this is very helpful for us, for those of us who are moving forward. So again, looking at these signs, please look in your charts, look at what they mean to you. We all have our own individual north node, south node. So individually, we should still be doing our work. And this still helps us paying attention to where we are collectively. Look at where it applies to you in the charts and see what individual work should you be doing. Like, for example, my north node is Virgo. So I got to be looking at, Virgo and Pisces, and on a personal level, what that means for me, but also paying attention to where we are collectively, where the north nodes and south nodes are collectively, because that tells us the environment, if that makes sense. So yes, we have our own individual work to do, but where we are collectively, it kind of it is telling you our cosmic environment, how we are best supported to do what we have come here to do individually as a soul. Which, by the way, what we do, the stronger we do our work individually as an individual soul, the more we strengthen, the more we raise our vibrations, the more we strengthen our light, the more we elevate our soul and step into our soul's ascension, because we're all spiraling up. So the more we spiral up, everything is a cycle, everything is cyclical, and it's just about paying attention to these cycles. Even when I look at the ages, the different ages, every age is about 2,000 years. And it's like, how does the earth know when to do what it do? Everything is cyclical. Everything happens in cycles. And what happens is, as we cycle, we're supposed to be cycling up. Some people may be down spiraling, but we're supposed to be cycling up. And as we cycle up, we elevate, to a new level as we're spiraling up. And every time we do, it's like a new level, and then the earth knows where to apply certain things accordingly. The cosmos know where to apply. It knows already if we're ready for the next ascension, because why? We've cycled around, in so many ways. So it's like, if you look at, for example, within the age, we just came out of the Piscean age. That was 2,000 years. Within those 2,000 years, there's a cosmic cycle that's happening. We have a year. That's a cycle. We have the planets where they move. They take a couple of years to be, in the next, like, let's say the furthest planet, Pluto. It takes about 200 something years to make a full cycle around the zodiac. So there are different levels of cycles. It's not just annually in our birthday. There are other cycles happening. So paying attention to these cycles, you know, within ourselves individually, as well as what's happening in the world collectively, helps us see where we are and what we're attracting and what is for our good. So I say all of that so that we understand where we are with the north node, south nodes. I really felt like that was important, that we understand how it affects us, you know, and we're at the end of this solar season. So really important, what I could ask you to look at is look at what you were doing last year, May, around that time. I guarantee you, if you look 6 months later, you'll see how that solar eclipse and lunar eclipse was piggybacking, is that a word? On what was happening in May. Also reflecting, it should have been able to give you an introspective look if you allow yourself to see it. And not only that, why November was so powerful is because it was the 1111 portal, and it was 111122. 22, is it 22? Yes, 111122. And when you look at that date, it's like we got a whole nother double 11 on the 22 side. So it was like a very amplified type of 1111 portal. This wasn't our regular 1111 portal according to numerology codes, right? And it was, for those who were paying attention, there was a major shift around November, around that 1111 portal, and with that in conjunction with the eclipse and all of that was happening, there was a major timeline shift. If you pay attention, you will notice some of you may have lost some friends, some of you may have lost some family members. A big shift may have happened where you just were no longer, some of us may have been thrusted out of something, like you are no longer in this timeline. You are no longer a vibrational match with whatever it is that you were doing before then. You just feel different and you don't know why. And how people deal with this is different. Some people can accept it. Some people, especially those of us who are already doing the work, we expect it, we accept it. You know, it's like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. It's not always a good feeling though. It's like, whoa, what's going on? But when you know your stuff, you know your work, you kind of put two and two together, and it's like, oh, this is a shift. For those who don't know what it is, it could be very discombobulating. It could be like they are disheveled, like, what the hell is this? Why do I not like this anymore? And instead of learning how to accept that, they often resist even more. And they can down spiral because they're not ready for it. They're not prepared for it. They have no awareness of it. And it could really feel like, I don't know myself anymore. So this is kind of what had happened in the last couple of months. And now here we are about 6 months later again. And this is the final stages of these solar eclipses, along with the north node and south node being in Taurus and Scorpio. So this is wrapping it up of the last bit of digging deep into things that we often don't want to look at, things we need to really let go that we've been clinging on to, digging into the depths of our emotions, of our soul, of where we're coming from, south node, in order to propel us forward into that new Taurus, grounding ourselves type of energy, as well as new relationships. Taurus is also about relationships. Materials are changing. It's not just about gaining material, but our perspectives on materials are changing and moving forward. It's more futuristic. So this energy is really helping us if we pay attention. But this is the last hoorah, your last chance to really look at this north node in Taurus and south node in Scorpio, and how it is helping you to remove what we need to remove, because Scorpio really helps you to dig deep. When our south node gets into Libra, it's going to be more about balancing things. But for those of us, we really needed this last season of eclipses with those north nodes and south nodes. We really, really needed this, especially the Scorpio aspect of digging deep. It's giving us that opportunity. And this one, why it's so important, bringing it to the new moon, is that because of where Chiron is being in Aries. Remember, this new moon is technically, it should be Taurus, but technically it's in Aries because it's the final degrees of Aries. And in Aries, we also have Jupiter, which is about expansion, and we have Chiron. And I believe the sun and the moon are even in a stellium with them, and aligned with them. So this energy of Chiron, which I've really been impressing upon others to remind them that Chiron is the wounded healer. And it's no coincidence that Chiron is in Aries, which is, Aries was the age of the ram before the Piscean age, and this was that egoic age, and where we picked up a lot of conquering aspects, the shadows of the ego, which we need to shed, we need to break free. This is why a lot of people are being asked to look into their egos, especially right now. I know I've been feeling it. On so many levels, we really need to be looking into our egos and just look and see where the little ego may be peeking its little ugly head, where the ego wants to take control and it wants to still kind of spin a narrative, and we have to break free from that narrative and say, no, I no longer need this narrative. I can no longer go by this narrative. I cannot let this narrative lead me in my decisions. This is the choices that we're being asked to make. So it's really important that we take this time to utilize the expansion of Jupiter that's expanding, which also brings knowledge. Jupiter also brings, so it's not just expanding, but it's expanding what's happening with Chiron, bringing us this energy, this stuff that we need to heal, as well as especially the things that we need to heal from the ages of the ram. Even though we didn't live in that age, we are still carrying vibrations as a people, as a collective consciousness from that age that we need to shed. So when we all do it individually, it affects the collective. So it is imperative that we do that work, but not only just our unhealed wounds, as I was saying, but it also, what Jupiter is bringing is the knowledge. So when we remove those things, and think about it, when you remove the blocks and the gook out of the way, you leave more open space. You open your capacity for what? More knowledge, more light to flow through you, right? So these are things that we are seeing with these energies that are helping us. So it's really exciting when you kind of look at it like, man, I see that. I know what to do. So we got to find these points, pinpoint them, and find where it is in you. That is the most important thing. Where was I 6 months ago? What was it that I needed to let go of that I did not let go of, that I'm still holding on to? I needed to shift. The timelines were shifting, and I clearly had been shifted out, and now I need to embrace that shift. We're at a point right now where we really need to look at what it was trying to show us, because the energies are saying, hey, let bygones be bygones. It's time to go. We're exiting even the next lunar eclipse. If you didn't do it now with this new moon, you have some time still. It will come to its real fullness at the full moon, where the lunar eclipse will be in Scorpio. And we're really going to need that energy, that Scorpio energy. So utilize this new moon to help catapult you deeper into yourself and undo what needs to be done, unpack what needs to be unpacked, and be able to take that into the next essence of you. We're really being asked to look at, it's like, the best way I could explain it, I was explaining this last night, the best way I could explain it is like, Pluto. How could I forget Pluto? Pluto is really helping us, because Pluto is about revelation, and Pluto just kicked into Aquarius in the end of March. So ushering us even deeper into the Aquarian age, into the age of the future. So Pluto, which is really, again, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio as well. So it's still, if you see, we're getting all this energy, we're getting all this opportunity, ample space and opportunity to do what? To dig deep, to let go and release and kill, let it die what needs to die, so that we can have a true rebirth in our new essence of ourselves. We're not going to get into our new essence without letting go of what needs to let go. So the explanation was like, it's like Pluto is like shining that light, and Pluto's like, it's like the north nodes because another thing is Pluto and the north nodes are squared. So it's like Pluto is holding that light, that revelation light, holding it up. And it's like the north nodes are like, you got me, Pluto, you got me, hold that light right there, Pluto. I need you to hold that, just hold it right there. And then the eclipse comes with the north nodes here. It's like, bam, right there. Got it. This is how the eclipse is working with Pluto and the north node. So it's like, it's really, while Pluto is, the best explanation I could give is like Pluto is breaking up the dirt, right? Breaking up the ground, allowing the ground to open up. And then here comes the eclipse, bam. And it helps to kind of add to that light, and then allows all the dirt that needs to come up to come up. And so It ain't pretty, y'all, right? It's something that when you look at, you want to be like, you show is ugly. It's ugly. I'm just preparing us. It's not pretty, but we have to allow it to come up. And so this Pluto, it's funny to me because it's like, man, Pluto is like, I got you, big dog. I got you. Pluto is really holding up so much things. So don't be mad. There's a lot of things that are coming up for you right now. We're getting information that is going to be heartbreaking or earth shaking, shattering. It's going to be things that is like, I don't like this. What is this? You know, perfect example, like in the global aspect, if you just look at what's even happening. I just saw something that's happening in the kingdom. This is just an example. I don't care what's happening in the royal kingdom, but it just showed something where Camilla had said something about Diana, and it's like, oh, the audacity, the atrocity. You know, this how they scuffing at it. But I know that it's a global thing that people are looking at. So if you kind of look at it, this is a perfect example of things that are coming up, the revelations that are coming up, and it's things that have always been there, because Camilla didn't just happen to do this, right? This tells you, it makes you look back in the past and say, oh, this is how she was. It's the truth of what always was that is being revealed to us, and it's not always pretty, but it is for us to face it, right? And so this is what's happening on a global, and people are now seeing her for who she really is. That's what it's like. We're really seeing things for what they really are. That's what I'm hearing. It is what it is. That's what I'm hearing with this energy. We're seeing things for how they are. We're seeing people for how they are, and we just have to accept it. It is what it is, right? So this is a beautiful thing to me about this energy. So this new moon is really coming and showcasing what's happening. The eclipse in itself is really, remember that an eclipse is also a time where it's blocking the light. So we really have to dig deep and shine our light. It's a time to really go within and use this time to see what's going on within and shine that light without, from the inside out, right? So this is what is going on with the north nodes, the south nodes, and I hope to do a little bit more about north nodes, south nodes, because this was like a new revelation to me. Revelation, right? Pluto brought something to me. It's a new revelation of how the north nodes interact with the eclipses, you know, and looking at this ecliptical season. So very exciting time. I invite you to get your stuff out, dig deep, be willing to go deep and look at that ugly and just walk with it till it becomes beautiful. It's here to assist. It is here to help us, right? One more thing before we go is I wanted to point out also something with the eclipses. If you look at what was happening, groundbreaking and shattering was around the time of November, how you can see it was really breaking up some stuff. It was asking us to look at grief and things like that, which, by the way, we're also being asked to look at forgiveness. But in that time, how you know, even in the earth, that something groundbreaking was happening, because the earth was opening up. There were earthquakes, there were volcanoes, like the earth itself was like breaking open. So there was some shattering things around that time. And it was for us to allow it was an elimination time around that season. It was time to eliminate and allow the elimination to happen, right? And then after that, a bunch of floods started happening. So there's still some flooding in certain areas. There are floodings all over the world in the past, 2 or 3 months. So now I'm looking for the fires. Where the fire at? You know, and we having this extra Aries season, you know, these mosquitoes trying to get me. So there's the fire time, and then now there is after, and if you look at it, it coincides with the lower chakras. You know, the root is earth, the sacral is water, the solar plexus is fire. That's why I said I'm looking for the fire, and the heart is air or wind. So we're looking for, you know, these elements also in the midst of things, because I know it's all intrinsic, it's all there, but just look at this and how it plays out in your life and affairs. What was groundbreaking? What needed to be flooded out with the waters? And now let the fires ignite where it is that we need to go, as we are still in the beginning of the astrological year. We're still in the beginning. So this Aries is kind of still saying, let's go, let's light, let's ignite, vroom, vroom. So with that said, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna exit right there. It was a beautiful time sharing this new moon energy with you all. I send you all love and light, and let's embrace this cosmic delight. And with that said, each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one. and the next one, and the next one. Peace, love, light.